Poniendo aquí el link. Good morning, guys. Good morning, night, guys. Can you hear me all right? Just checking my sound.
Contra las torres de Nueva York en el 2001, el 9 de septiembre, uno de los bomberos se dio cuenta que su compañero...
What's up, Jimmy? Can you hear me? Perfect. Just wanted to check. How's everyone doing? How was your day today? I don't know. Let me see if I can change my volume from the audio here.
Si esto hace una cucaracha,
Something.
¿qué cucarachas? Aquí voy a empezar mi nuevo emprendimiento. Les presento el Cucamóvil. Uber me va a hacer los mandados.
Cucamo. Yeah. I like Google for to keep going after today. Hey, Rudy, how are you? Sorry that I don't have my microphone with me. I might be better for next class. But funny story is that I'm not in the US right now. I'm in Europe, so that's why I'm not in my normal computer. I'm on my laptop, so the setup it's not the same. I don't have as much tools right now for everything. So it's 2 a.m. here. So let's see what we got. We got Rudy, Jimmy, Al Brooks, Shamal, Rodrigo, Jerry. Welcome, everyone. the idea of this class is that I'm gonna give you a little bit. Oh, Jimmy, I was on vacation. I took a little trip, 8 days to Spain, but I traveled with my puppy. I don't know if you remember that I talked to some of you guys at night that I got a puppy, and she's 4 month old. And what happened is when I was about to get back on the plane to return, the airline told me that I wasn't able to fly because US is not accepting dogs if they are younger than 6 months. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So when I was in the counter to check in, they just told me that, the dog is not allowed to travel. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I was supposed to return on Saturday, but I couldn't. So I need to stay here until the dog has 6 months, which is crazy. I'll, I'll be in Europe for a month. That's one of those things that, yeah, it's crazy. I was doing my check-in. I was all with my wife, and my wife took the plane because she had work today. She needed to be there by Monday, and um, and I was like, "But what do you mean by that the dog can travel?" Yeah, unless she's 6 months, you have to leave it, or you can't travel. I'm like, "What do you mean?" Yeah, that's it. That's the new rules of the CDC, and I asked them, so why do you sell me a ticket to go and return, and no one told me anything. And yeah, they say, well, that's the problem with the passenger to need to be informed. So the summary is that you cannot travel. And I'm like, well, things that I'm not those things that you need to make a decision in a minute. So I'm staying in Spain. I'm in Madrid right now until October 22nd. That's the birthday of the dog that I can travel. What about that, guys? Talking about changing plans, sudden changing plans. All right, guys. So let me check. Let me start here.
Объяснениями ливонцы не затруднились. Сперва пчелов наших не пустили.
Let me see. What do we got here?
Плевать должно.
Can all you see my? There we go. Perfect. So I don't have multiple screens. I'm just in one screen right now. There we go. All right, guys, let's start this. So it's gonna be talking a little bit about breakouts, what they are, how do we use them, and after that, I'm gonna jump into TOS, and I'm gonna be able to talk a little bit on the examples of today. So breakouts. Definition of the breakouts occurs when the price moves decisively beyond a previously established range. This signal often precedes a significant market movement. So as you can see on the little chart here, this is a perfect example of a breakout. We have a move, we have a little range consolidation, and then after that we just we have a breakout. The breakouts can be up, down, and you're going to be how uh, practical is to be able to identify whenever we have this, breakouts. They can happen in different ways, and I'll show some practical examples on the charts. So how do we to identify, and how do we use them? So the most important part of trading breakouts is how do we identify the support and resistance levels? Why? Because every breakout, it's going to have a phase where it's going to range and it's going to be sort of consolidating between the support and resistance. So we need to have set our levels in the correct way so we know where this consolidation is happening. And after that, we're going to be able to see the breakout. And for that, we can use different indicators. The indicators are going to help us see when a compression is coming, and then when we're gonna have a squeeze happening. When the squeeze opens, that's gonna be the perfect timing to see how the candlesticks move and try to identify an opportunity for an entry, either up or down. So how do we identify support and resistance? Well, support levels are where the price tends to find buying interest. We know that, preventing it from falling further. And the resistance is the levels are where the price tends to encounter selling pressure, preventing it from rising further. So support normally is on the lower side, and resistance is when it's coming up. It finds a roof, and we call it resistance. So this is just a simple chart of today, Apple's price action. If you see how, if I extended the, right, I don't know if you are able to see this with this. So, and I don't know, like today, if you extend for a couple of weeks back, you see the yellow line is, you can see how this is, we've been reaching like rejecting 1, 2, 3, and this is my long-term setup. And you see this blue line here is the 20 daily SMA. So one of the interest things is that you see how do the 20, we rejected the 20, we rejected the 20, and then we rejected the 20 again. And it's been consequent of that 20 daily SMA on the longer term that we have to be careful and we haven't been able to crack it up. And then we see here the range on the lower side. We see how the support, it's been on 217.47 and we stay there. So all of a sudden what happened? We touched resistance, we found buyers on the low side, and then we went all the way down and broke the range. When we were able to break that range, so the question for tomorrow is going to be on Apple. All right, we're coming down. We broke, some important levels. We tried to hold or break above the 20 daily SMA. We couldn't. We created this consolidation, and now we have a squeeze coming down on the week. It happened on the 1 hour on the pre-market for some news about the offerings and the demand of the iPhone 16, and now we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow and if data is going to make it change in some way. So that's going to be interesting for Apple tomorrow. So is it clear? Is it very clear? We went down or up. We have a consolidation period, and then we have another sort of break. So it could be up, down, just break. If this were to be another break up, it will just be a reversal breakup. So, or a breakout. So supports levels are very important. And remember, every breakout and part of the everyday trading, it's based on support and resistance. For me, and for most of the traders, levels are the most important part. And you just accompany those levels with some indicators that are going to help you visualize in which way are we going to trade. Are we going to trade up? Are we holding? Are we not holding? That's why when I talked, this is just coincidence that I grabbed Google and Apple as an example, but those were my calls from today. Why? Well, look at this breakout here in the support level explained. If you see the chart here on Google, and I will go to the live chart on TOS later on, you see how we went down, the same thing. This is the 20 daily SMA. We went down, 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 and all of a sudden we have a sort of a double bottom, but we call this a little consolidation. And what happened? We have a reversal. And double top, like we consolidated and we ranged for a couple of days, and then back up to the same levels that we're gonna signal these levels, and you're gonna see that we're exactly these levels, and that's one of the where the support is pretty key to have those levels marked and see where we expecting to are we gonna to bounce. And what's the idea? Once you see that we lift off of the breakout, that's when you try to find, you read your candles to find a candle that is going to tell you that you can jump in. And that used, besides using I use my TTM squeeze, or I use my MACD, those are going to help me know, am I dealing at the right time and I'm taking the right position at the right time. So that's very, very key. The same way, on the other side, we have the resistance level or the support, or the resistance level is going to be the roof, and that is going to be the supply zone, because here's where we tend to have a weakness and then try to go down again. So people will take profits on all this way, and it might be the beginning of a downward trade. So it's just you see the resistance level is a price zone where the selling pressure tends to overcome the buying pressure, because people, we see that we have a roof here, and whenever whoever is in long say, I'm not going to risk it, I'm going to start trimming or taking profits. And if we break up and hold and we keep going, I'm only going to do it in runners. But you don't take a long position here. You take either a short position, or you trim, or you're out of a previous trade that you were long. And this is your resistance level. And that's kind of what we call, or we refer as the supply zone. So demand zone when we are, on the bottom trying to go up, and then supply zone when we have a resistance level and we're trying to go down. Pretty clear so far, right? Good. One of the ways on how do we manage, once we can identify our levels, we see our levels, we see we are either on the resistance or the support side. How do we know when we need to get in? Should I jump in? It's going to keep going down. It's going to keep coming up. It's going to break that level. Here we have to back up our decision with either a technical indicator or the volume. There's no one. I mean, there are multiple ways on how do you do it. Everyone has a different preference. So on the volume, it's just going to confirm that a breakout with a high trading volume increases the likelihood of its sustainability. So if we are holding on a double bottom, we have a little range, we're consolidating, and we see the volume starting to go up on the buy side, that's just there. And we see the flow too. We haven't talked about the flow, but we see the flow that start to jump up. That's going to tell us that, there's movement, there's interest to hold this price action here and try to, go back up. So I might take some calls and see what happened. And then we'll see when we go to TOS, where will we set up our stop losses? How do we have to trade? Then we can also use, that we have other technical indicators, moving averages, Bollinger Bands, TTM squeeze, MACD, that those are just going to tell us when the periods of low volatility are going to change for a potential breakout. And that's where we see the squeeze. That's where we see the Bollinger going from one side to the other one, or we see some of the moving averages crossing on top of the other one. And we'll see everything on the TOS right now. How do we have some entry strategies? Well, we have the conservative approach and we have an aggressive one. The conservative approach, we wait for the breakout confirmation with a close above for bullish or below the key level. So remember, every time, one of the first things and the most common mistake that we all make, it's we try to jump too early. We need to be able to read. First of all, we need to know that our levels are more or less correct. And then we need to see that the price action of the candles are correct. So when we see the candles, we need to confirm that we are above the level that or the range that we had or below that range to be able to jump in, and then that's going to help us set up. It's going to be easier to set up the stop loss, and we'll see this on a chart that's going to be easier to manage. Then the risk management, we have the conservative that, we wait for that confirmation to happen. Remember, test, like break and retest. That's how it's called. You break that level, it's gonna retest it, and that's where you're gonna grab your calls or your puts on that retest, because it's telling you that again you're finding resistance or support at the same level. But we have the aggressive approach when you enter the trade as soon as the breakout occurs. But you have a huge risk of a false breakout that you need to know how to trade it. You need to know how to set up your early stop loss in case that you just caught the movement just a little bit too early. And I am a victim of that. Sometimes I see and I try to picture in my mind that's what's going to happen, and I jump too early on some of my trades. And what the problem with that is that you have to be careful not to be holding for too much time a trade, or if the volatility is against me, I don't want to be averaging on that position and trying to add more contracts because it's not performing on the way that I want it. So we have to avoid that. How do we manage the risk when we are trading breakouts? And guys, just as a rule of thumb, I only trade breakouts, either up or down. But when I'm within my levels, I try to draw trend lines, and then on the break of those trend lines, that's where I trade. That's it. So it's the most, for me, the safest and best way that I found to trade with a great risk management. Let me see, we have thoughts on Google, vacation or business. I was on vacation. What percentage would you say it's a good stop loss to set for any trade? That's very personal, and it's going to depend on your size of the contracts that you're taking for position. But I'm always between 10 and 15%, guys. And what happened is the next. I always set up a flexible stop loss if I'm not trading SPX or anything that it's volatile within 10 and 15%. And sometimes, and this is me, I let it go to 20, because sometimes you need to let some space to the price action to go the way you want. But you need to be certain that you have your flexible stop loss, and then you need to have a non-negotiable stop loss. I always talk about this. You have a non-negotiable that doesn't matter that if it goes one candle after it goes up, you need it to be out, because that's how you're going to protect your port. You can always try to see a little bit, negotiate 5%, a little bit more, maybe 10% more, but you need to know when you're out, completely out. So the risk management side of breakouts, you need to set your stop loss to limit those potential losses, because there are a lot of fails. We don't know how the price action is going to go. All these days, for example, that we have a lot of data coming in, you have to protect your port. So you have to be able to set the proper stop losses in case that you are in the wrong side of the trade. And then you have to also determine, as usual, your position size based on the risk tolerance that you have, because every time, again, we don't know, like remember, we're reading based on past price action, what's going to happen next, but we don't know what's going to happen. So we try to assume with different indicators and with a sort of educated guess what's going to happen, but every time you need to protect yourself. There are some exit strategies that are different that you can use depending on, are you based your entry on target, or are you based on time?
Ooh.
If you based on target, you have to set a profit target. It could be a previous candle that it was a higher on the lows. It could be your next level that you have for the ticker, or it could be that if some people trade within the EMAs, you know, if I grabbed a call within my 20 EMA, if it touches my 50, I'm out. You need to set your strategy before
They're
getting
basically
into.
saying, no matter what, I know it's gonna come.
And then remember, guys, you're all unmuted. If you're gonna be careful with your microphones, please. And if you're time-based, you have to know when to exit the trade if the price fails to continue in the desired direction. So remember, if you're scalping, you need to be 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles on that trade, or if not, you're out. If you're day trading, you can give more space and see that the move happens. If you're swinging, you're swinging, you can be 2 weeks out and you have space to add or to manage that trade. But if you're scalping like day trading, sometimes with 1 or 2 candles, you're out. So you have to calculate that you shouldn't be more than 10 or 15 minutes on one trade, or not at least for the full position. And it's going to depend on your style. One of the most common things that happen are the false breakouts. False breakouts occur when the price briefly moves beyond a support or a resistance level before reversing. This can be seen as a form of a market manipulation, and we call it, sometimes we said that it's that it's a look above or a look below, and we have a look above and a look below, and then the price action just reverses. You are in that thing, so you need to be careful where to be there pretty fast. Guys, remember that be careful with your microphones. I'm not able to see. Let me see, who's this? Okay. Ethan. Okay. I'm getting some people here just to have it. Nice. Perfect. So, and then how to handle the false breakouts? Well, you have to identify strong bullish or bearish candles at key levels. Where are the key levels? Where that's what we call the break and retest. And I'll show all of these on the charts. Wait for a clear reversal candle, and then enter the trade at the start of the next candle. What that means is the next candle after the reversal candle. Why? Because we need to have a break, and that retest needs to be a hold. Today, when I call some of the 2 calls that I did today, I called Google and Apple, and I said Apple needs to hold above, I think it was 216.5 to grab some calls and try to see if we went up. But we have some volatility before it went up. Same with Google. Google went right straight away up and then it went down. But we need to be able to identify that we are holding that level. And if we jump a little bit earlier, you need to set up your stop loss just to protect yourself. Doesn't matter if you were right, but if it goes more than that certain percentage, you need to be out. Remember, you can always re-enter. Or if you're in a smaller port and you have certain, your size of or the amount of trades that you have, it's limited. Well, you tried and you protected yourself, you didn't lose. So that's part of the things that we need to be able to do. I have another question. Do you have some examples of good breakout volume versus not so breakout volume? What time frame should we look for the volume? Yeah, John. We'll go to the examples in a second and TOS. There we go. So some of the strategies that we use sometimes, or you can use, are the ongoing trend strategy for a breakout, or where do you identify the potential reversal? So on the continuation is when you see that it's going up and you see strategy, it's entering a momentum trade, sort of. You identify that the trend is established already, and then you just try to wait for a little consolidation, and then it's going to keep up. Remember, this is sort of a flag. When we are on the way up and we have a bull flag, you know that that's a consolidation, and the bull flag is going to keep going. You can identify that, draw a trend line, and then just when you see the break, you get in. you have the continuation pattern, then you enter and you just set your stop loss below to avoid having any trouble. The second one is going to be the reversal breakout. That's the one that we've been talking. The trend ends in a consolidation, and then you have a potential reversal. What you need to see is the confirmation of that reversal. You need to see that the price is strong enough that it's going to bring you that support, that resistance, and it's going to be on preferably on higher time frames. So you want to look for a reversal. Don't try to go to the 2 minutes or the 5. Sometimes it's better to see it on the 15 and the 30 minutes and see what the big move is happening. And I'm going to show you in some examples how different the consolidations or the breakouts can look depending on the time frame that we're looking at. So we got to be very careful. The trading steps, you have to identify the end of the trend and the consolidation, and then wait for that breakout to happen on the opposite direction and set your stop loss to know where to take profit. So nothing new here. This is just like, we know how to trade this. We've been trading it like this, but you always try to do it on a certain way. And I just one example that if you see an engulfing candle or a 3 white soldiers, those are patterns on candlestick patterns that are bullish, and that's going to be another way on how you can identify it. If you've seen those candlestick lessons, the lectures, those are bullish patterns that you know that is going to help you out on identify that you need to jump into that trade. Normally, questions that we have here on the subject is, do breakouts, like, do they work? Like, if I only trade this, do they work? Well, for me, I find them to be the most effective way to trade between breakouts or levels. I love to trade level to level or breakouts from those levels. But you have to be careful with the false breakouts. That's going to be the most important problem that we might have. And then one of the how to avoid getting into those fake outs is going to depend on the time frame. Remember this: the shorter the time frame, the more fake outs that you're going to see. The longer or the bigger the time frame that you are trying to trade, it's going to be more calm. It's going to give you more time. It's going to be more precise, and it's going to be easier to trade. The thing is, like, if we're scalpers, we would like to be on the smaller time frames, but you need to be like, I always have at least 2 or 3 charts of the same ticker in different time frames. So I can have the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, and the 5 minutes, or I can have the 30 minutes, the 5 minutes, and the 2 minutes open. And try to do this. Try to, if you have multiple screens and you're able to do this, try to set up this same chart on the different time frames on the same level, on the same ticker, and see how different the visual is going to be. Like, on the 1 hour, it's telling you, no worries, you're going up, you're following a trend line. On the 30 minutes, it's going to tell you that, you might be just consolidating. On the 5 minutes, it's going to be a completely different thing. It's going to be up and down, and you can just get crazy trading there. So try to do that to get used to on what are you watching. So far, does anyone have any questions before we jump into the actual charts? No, let's go to the charts. Let's go here. Boom. All right. Are you able to see my chart, guys? Just to make sure, because I'm working with one screen, and I don't have I don't have mouse. Working with a built-in mouse is a pain in the neck. Are you able to watch everything here? Yes, perfect, John. Thank you. So check this out, Palantir. Look how cool this is. And this is where technical analysis gets very interesting. Look at the 5 minutes. What do we have on the 5 minutes on Palantir? Palantir, we have what happened today. We have a night. If we go here and we set some levels here from yesterday, look at how we went back to some of the levels that we had yesterday. See how this level sort of, it was a resistance, 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 and now it became support today. We had that breakout from this sort of consolidation here, and then it went up. And look at if you're using the MACD, let me take this away here. If you're using the MACD, look at how the MACD is telling me, look at this consolidation period that happened within yesterday and today. Look at, we just went flat, flat, flat. What happened? We went a little down, and then we have some volatility coming up or down, up or down. So this is what we're looking to trade. Now I want to see when we have a volatility and some move. So this is just and probably if I go to the Bollinger Bands, it's going to be the Bollinger Bands are going to be narrowed, and then all of a sudden they open up, and it's got the volatility starts. That's where we trade. So what do I wanted to see here in Palantir? I wanted to see in the shorter time frame a break. We did not hold, as you can see, and I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to zoom in. You see, we broke up, and this is a fake out because you will believe that we're going to keep going. But do you see here? Do you see here a candle holding? This one kind of touched, but it wasn't. It's not a bullish candle. This is a bullish, very strong candle. And when we jumped into the next one, what happened? It went all the way up. It didn't have enough strength. It went a little bit lower, and we closed this candle here. And this one, again, not a really strong signal that that is going to be bullish. And then we went down, down, down. So this is a sort of a fake out on that little trade-off break and retest. We never retested positively. This candle needed to be break and try to go up and close above the previous one. So that's when I said in the theory, you need to have one candle that is going to break, and you try to jump in on the next one that is going to be on the side that you want to trade it. So this one needed to be a bullish candle to try to jump in. But in this side, we have a different thing. What happened here? So we broke it up. We stay above, not strong enough. You see, even though we stay above the level, it was not bullish enough. But this candle, it's bullish. Look at how strong this candle is. Doesn't even have a wick. And then your entry should have been around this. When you see this candle going up, this will be your entry. And well, you have these couple of 5-minute candles to trade and hold your trade or keep holding on until today. But this is on the 5 minutes. What if we go to the 1 hour? What are we going to see? Well, on the 1 hour, look at what we have. You see what it's been happening. I'm going to grab more days on my time frame. I'm going to grab, let's see, it's call it 90 days. So we have 3 months. Look at what happened. We had a consolidation. We broke down. We went back to a little consolidation. We broke up. And then all of a sudden, we stay within this level until we, like the perfect trade was trying to grab calls here and just let it run all the way here. So that's why we need to set up those levels and try to see and identify like in which time frame I wanted to, set these ranges. Because I could have tried to grab it here, these two here or not, but you need to go and play around with the time frame, guys. You need to go to the 1 hour, 4 hours, and then zoom in and see how the price action is going to be. So, and here also you need to decide what do you want to do. Do I want to be in the 1 hour so I know that I could have just grabbed calls here and I'm just calm surfing my 50 simple moving average. You know, I'm touching it here, I'm touching it here, and this looks pretty bullish to me on Palantir. You see, we're not touching, there's nothing we cross the 50 cross the on top of the 200, and it's keep going. So I don't see any, if I'm in longs, I don't see any urge to be out. But if I go to the, I don't know, 5 minutes, if I wanted to trade the 5 minutes, I probably wanted to jump in and out just because of what I'm watching here, right? Because I'm watching that I want to, we have this little sort of hold of a 50 and then we broke it down. So you see how different here we're working that 50. This is the 50 daily simple moving average, SMA. But at the 1 hour, we're holding it. So it's going to depend on what type of trading you're doing. If you're scalping, you know that, you could have been in, like you could have grabbed it here and be out. You could have grabbed it here and be out here. Or you could have just wait for the ranges to happen. But your entry, the correct entry was on these two candles here, and then wait for this breakout. Boom. And the other thing that you need to know here, this example, and I will see the questions in a second. I know there are some questions in the chat. Remember, you should have grabbed your entry on this trade is here. Hold on a second. Your entry is here. And then once we went up, and we went up to this candle, and we keep holding, where are you going to set your stop loss? Because if my entry was here, I would have set my stop loss somewhere around here, probably on top of this red candle, just to avoid being all the way, or maybe here at the bottom of this candle. So I'm going to try to give some space if it goes up and down. But if I'm in here and I see these candles, I'm setting my stop loss automatically at the top of this wick here. And that's I'm going to be protecting. And if you see this level, look at how do we go back to this exact level on the aftermarket. Look at where we bounce. You see how this, you will believe this is coincidence, but this is price action. You see how exactly the same candle we should have got in, now it's becoming support. Isn't that neat? Look at that. Boom, we supported, and now we're trying to bounce back. That's awesome. I love that. But you needed to know where to set that stop loss right away, just to you protect your trade. Let's see what questions do we have. What time frame do you mainly set levels on? I set my levels from the 4 hours all the way to the 5. But normally between 4 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and those are the main levels that I like to trade. Sometimes I feel like I use too many levels and there are false positives. Do you think only mark a level, a reversal, or a weak candles as well? I go for the wicks, but let me see, higher high, higher low. Yes, trying to get things. Empanada, do you have some example of good breakouts? Yeah, I'll show you. John, you can see the volume here. You see how, look at this, look at how the volume, it's pretty high here, and it starts lowering, 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 but with lower volume, you see how the histograms still are very strong on the way up, and then all of a sudden it fades a little, it fades, it fades, it fades, and then at the end we still have even a stronger volume here. But you see how do you see how the push happened, and where the starting of this movement was pushed by this sort of volume right here. And I have, look at, I think Apple is the other one that I set. Look at Apple here, guys, on the 30 minutes. That's the example that I gave you. Look at the 30 minutes on Apple. What happened? I'm going to grab the 1 hour so you can see it better. So look at the 1 hour. What happened? This is a previous range. So if I extend, let me just grab this, let's extend this here and sort of look at this. This is sort of the previous range, and if I copy this and put it on top of here, So this range went up, nothing happened. We broke, and we never hold this previous range. So we just found another one. So what happened here? Support, support, support. We broke the resistance. Didn't hold on top because this is aftermarket, pre-market. We opened, went completely down. Try to hold on the aftermarket and pre-market of the next day. What happened on the open of Tuesday last week? We went right away down all the way, and we even went, what our previous support, we broke it, and now that support became resistant. That's what happened. It became resistance, 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 and what happened on the pre-market today? That's what I wanted to show. Look at, we have the resistance, but not only the resistance, we resisted exactly at the 20 daily SMA. Look at this, exactly at the 20 daily SMA. So no coincidence on why do we never, like why Apple did not perform pretty well. Look at that. This is the 20, this is where we found resistance. We opened, we went straight down, and then we found, this is what happened with the price action afterwards. And now we open and we folded the same new resistance that it was the previous support, that it became the new resistance. And look at the volume here. Look at how huge this volume was here in the 1 hour. And we did nothing else. We just broke and we are just selling here. So what are we expecting tomorrow in Apple? Well, if we find more resistance, we're going to keep going down, or are we going to try to jump up again between this level? And we're going to trade between 217 and 223. So that's going to be our next level to try to trade. And that's why, but if I go on the 5 minutes on Apple, this is the little push I have on my string 4. This is what I wanted to trade today. The whole of the yesterday lows, 213, all the way to the previous, like this broke where we hold the 50 SMA. And that's what happened. It broke here, it hold, it went all the way up. I wanted it to go all the way up here. It never happened, and we just consolidated. We have data. Remember, we have data on Wednesday, and most of the bigger names are going to be just holding to see what's going to happen. And next we have, look at what NVIDIA did. What happened to NVIDIA on the bigger time frame? Same thing. Look at this consolidation on NVIDIA. Like, look at this consolidation here. Nothing happening, nothing happening. And just out of coincidence, this is the 50 daily SMA and the 20 daily SMA. So if I go to the 1 hour, you're going to see how the 20 tried to go up and it crossed the 50, but it's holding there. So we need to see this space separating more, creating more volatility to give more space to NVIDIA to go up. But this is a very interesting one. Look at this. I'm gonna grab more time. I'm gonna grab 90 days, and I'm gonna go to the 4 hours. So look at what NVIDIA did. We have different things here. This is NVIDIA chart. Look at how nice this is. This is our range. We have a trend. Went up, down, these levels. We try to went up, grab, like we turn again into this. We call it resistance. It doesn't need to be horizontal. This is the same thing, but this is our range. We try to break it up, never really hold it up, and then went back into the same range, and then we're within it. So I would love to see a hold and try to break above this, to see new positive and try to go up, but it's not happening. But within this, we have this consolidation period. That is a different trade. So you could have traded on the bigger time frames, just this move. But if you want to go to a different, like on the 30 minutes, you could have traded just this move here that happened. Let me grab more days previously to this. I go here now, look at this breakdown that happened before these days. You see, consolidation, 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 consolidation. So support, support, support. And my previous support, we broke it. It becomes the new resistance, and then we have another move. So another, you can see how consolidation, consolidation, up. So or step, step, consolidation, and this is the perfect example of a reverse of what happened. We have this step down. We have this is the support, so I can draw a level here for support. So I have support, 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 and what happened? We tried, look at how this resistance, like here, it's exactly the same one. Let's see, how do we bounce? Here, 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 and here's where we break it. So here's where we see that we have okay, we're changing direction again. Now we have another new change of direction, and then what happened here? So on the 30 minutes, you see that we tried to break it. We're not strong enough. We held the 50 SMA, and after that held after that whole of the 50 SMA, that's where we found our entry for this trade. That probably for me would have been like right here after this break, and that I'll just let it run all the way until the 50 SMA. And look at the volume all the time. It goes really, really high at those opening and holding the SMA. So you have different ways of knowing when you need to hold that level, when you need to hold the trade, and then you see this is respecting my 50. We're crossing my 50 is crossing above my 200. So this is a bullish way, and then I got the 20 that it crossed it's making space between the 50 and the 20 daily SMA. That's another bullish indication that I'm on the right direction of my trade. One new message. Oh, late, sorry. Michael, what time frame do you mainly set levels on? Sometime. Norman.
What's good, Empanada?
What's up, my bro? How's everything going?
Just training somebody, bro, but we're hustling.
Hustling, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm just going through the levels and the breakouts that happened today. I've been trading this on for a while now. You all know that I've been chasing this name for a little bit, and look at this, guys. Look at how beauty. Is
that on semiconductor?
Yeah, that's a different on semiconductor. On are the shoes, the sports apparel that they are making a lot of
banana cow. Banana.
I've been seeing an interesting setup on VST, bro.
For
next month.
Close.
Hold on.
Door stopper લઈ લેવું છે કોણી મગજમારી હા
Okay.
Yeah, when you get a chance, if you could check the VST, I've been checking. I've been keeping a close eye on that one, and VRT. I've been looking at the flow. There's a lot of bullish flow on VST to the 90s, 1018.
This is VRT? VRT like this?
That's VRT, and then there's another one called VST. I'm talking about VST, but both look really good.
Look at this look at how it went down on earnings, and now it's trying to regain that 85.64 here. So this is a consolidation. It went down. This is a inverse head and shoulders, as you can see here, and the inverse head and shoulder, it got completed, and then it went all the way up. Sorry, it went all the way up right there.
No, you're man.
Look at this here, and then up, and it's holding. I'll keep an eye on VRT tomorrow. If we hold above 86.64, we might see another consolidation and a jump a little high. So this is, again, we're jumping back into another range, and then I'm just waiting to see if there is a breakout. And another way how we can see this I can just do a little trend line like this for tomorrow and see in the pre-market and the aftermarket. On the pre-market tomorrow, if this is gonna break above it and it's gonna hold above it. If it doesn't break above, you're gonna see resistance that we coming down, and you can set up those levels probably around here and here. And BFTs with a like this, small v or BFT. Which one is it, Norbert?
It's a V and then S and then T, and that's it.
BST, this one? Vistra. Oh, you told me about this one the last time, I think. Let's see something here. Look at that. Look at that beauty.
Thanks, Empanada. Appreciate you, bro.
Let me do this. I'm gonna do this. Like this. This is your breakout happening. So now, after we know the breakout, we just need to know which macro levels are we expecting. So you see this level here? How do we resist it? Resist it, resist it, resist it. Resist it, resist it, resist it, and try to hold. And then we have that resistance here. That's a support. And that will be my goal for here. And this is just highs here. And then if I go to the 1 hour, I just want to check, see where, if it doesn't come down to here, and if we're going to respect above the trend line that I set to still go up, because your next level is going to be a lot higher after here. Let me grab a little more days. I need to grab 90 days here. And here's your next level around this area here. You can move this a little lower. Are you in that trade already, Norbert? You can see if we hold this level, you can see 93 maybe between this week. If the news on the rates are positive and it makes all of this jump, you can see this going up. And again, guys, look, consolidation, a break, retest of that break, sort of. It doesn't, remember, levels, they don't need to be exactly. We're not going to see something that's going to be touching exactly. Sometimes it happens, but it's the idea is that you see that it's going to be close, 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 close. We broke it, we hold it, and then again we went down, and then this is the first time that we're really breaking it with a lot of strength. So normally you're going to see probably a hold here because previous price action, and then
yeah, I'm looking at the in the money ones, Empanada, for the 1018. They're kind of pricey. They're like around $500, but it looks like they could pay fat.
For when?
1018-24.
Okay. Well, they're pretty cheap, man. Oh, not bad. I know that the price is 20, but yeah, it's not bad to look at this. Look at this one. It's
yeah, I was looking at the IV, the Delta. I mean, I don't know much about options, but I just try to keep it under 0.5 the Delta and under 30 for my IV.
Yeah, I like to use the 30 delta on the if I'm gonna trade it on the longer. So I would have graphed probably the 24s. The 24s have the delta, the correct delta for me. But if you see it on the volume and the open interest, the 24s are not the one with the most. Look at how the 25s, look at how it has 30,000 open interest and 8,000 volume. So I probably will go to the cheaper, and I can grab a little more contracts here, so I can play with the IV. That will be my bet on the 25s if the movement keeps going. But hey, hold on, I'm not on the right one.
Yeah, no, I'm also I'm not looking to rush into it right now. I'm looking to get into it after the FOMC.
Yeah, hold on. I was on another different one. Here we go. Now these are expensive. Yes, I was on Microsoft. I'm like, this is not that expensive. Here we go. They are expensive. 100. Here, the 100s are the ones that look the best for the price on VST. I was looking at a different name. So the expectation is that it's going to be 93. So we're going to try to see that my next price target is going to be 93. You need to jump either on the 95s because 100 is going to be too far away. So I will grab 95s. If you're not, are you in already?
No, I'm gonna get in after the FOMC.
Okay. I'm going to keep an eye on those, on the 95s. The problem is if the data is good, these things are going to jump pretty fast in the money. But I like it. Looks pretty good. Let me see if we have more questions. I'm sorry. ENPH, of course. Let's see, ENPH. No worries, I got you, Vira. I just mute you there, just to not have you there. 1 hour ENPH. We're here. This is a little trend. We're in a little range there. You see here. Little range. Let's remove this. Let's grab this. Try to get out of this one. And if you see the bigger time frame, you see how I'm going to draw this way so we see where we are. Like if you see this, and over here. Oh, I need my mouse, man. Hate this. This is your main range that we are right now, Viro. Look at this. So if you grab calls around this area, you can expect to go either like 120 or 120 will be the one that will make more sense. So you're here to 120, but you have the 50 daily SMA right here. So look how we rejected the 20 SMA today. We never hold on top. So the eyes, if you to keep holding this, you need to see tomorrow pre-market that you're going to be above the 50 and then try to reach for the 20. That's going to be your key level for me. That's how I trade using these specific indicators. So for me, it needs to hold. I need to see a hold of the 50 and then try to go to the 20, because if not, the trade is going to be too tight with this resistance right there. Perfect. Yeah, if you got it in the middle of that consolidation on the daily, you're spot on. You grab it nicely because you have this space here to grab. But you got to be careful with this because we crossed the 20 cross and it's not looking very strong right now with this move. So, but you see the MACD here is holding. If we see this concave move here, try to keep going up. This is gonna be a nice push, and we can see you go all the way onto 120 or maybe anywhere around this area on these wicks. Now, that's gonna be a nice trade as usual. We're banking on those longer term trades. So that's about it, guys. Any other question? No, shit, that's it. Yeah, just be careful because it's very tight. I don't think if like if you have 120 as a price target, you gotta be careful with the 20 daily and the 50. So be careful. In 114 will be your alternative price target to trim and be out. Any other question, guys? Any other doubts? Do you understand a little better right now how to trade those breakouts? Dell, what do we got on Dell? What do we got on Dell? Yeah, it's kind of tricky here because you see the 20 daily SMA cross and it's approaching the 50 on the bigger time frame. And if I go to the 4 hours, you see, I wanted to see these. I wanted to see these 20. I want to see these 20 crossing the 50 on top, but it seems that it's kind of holding a little bit. So I need to see the 20 breaking or crossing the 50 to be more bullish into Dell. I need to see this. I need to see this movement. I need to see the space on the blue line here, still going further away from the yellow line, moving further away from the blue line to have more to be bullish on it. So, but it's holding better above the 50, and now we have to see more strength on the daily SMAs to go up. Pretty nice. I'm gonna keep an eye on that one, Jimmy. Interest setups on SPY going into the interest rate announcement. I grabbed calls. I grabbed calls on SPY today, but look at SPY. This SPY is going to be very nice to trade tomorrow, and it's going to be fairly easy. Why? Well, look at this. Let me move it away from here a little bit. So this is where we are on SPY right now on the bigger time frame, where we have this resistance zone. We on the bigger time frame, we go to the 4 hours. Look at how the 20 broke. This is a bullish movement above the 50. We crossed, and then we have the 50 touching with the 50 and going up again. So we never try to cross into the 200. That would have been a bearish movement. It's holding and trying to reach higher on the bigger time frames. And if I go to the 5 minutes, I'm resisting. So this is exactly, what do you do when you touch this? You're never going to grab calls here. You're never going to grab calls here. Never going to grab calls anywhere here. If you grab puts, you might, you need to set your stop loss just in case, but it's going to be limited. What I'm expecting that it's going to happen here tomorrow, well, I'm expecting that. Let me grab a little more days, more time here. Boom, 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 boom. 5 days, I want 30 days. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now that I can move it a little bit further, what I'm expecting tomorrow is I want to see my MACD holding above my indicator line, and I want to see the pre-market jumping on top and holding above this line. If I'm not above this with positive candles, I'm not grabbing any calls. I need to see this. I mean, we can perfectly do this at open, break and hold, and then keep going. So if I see that break and a retest, I might grab calls and try to see if we go up, and I will set my stop loss below this resistance line. But this resistance line is going to be lava tomorrow. If I don't see it, then I will go for puts, and my price target is going to be the 20 daily SMA here at 556. That's going to be my first target. My next target is going to be probably don't go there. My next target, it's going to be here. Look, I mean, you can always set a scalp target on the previous low of the previous day, like the previous day low. So around there, you want to see the here. So either puts trim and try to go all the way to 556, or break, retest, and we go higher. And if we go higher, where do we go? We have some space to 564, and I think that's going to be an all-time high again. 565, it's all-time high, so that's where we need to see if it's going to break or not. No, no. That's your target. So is it a good idea to enter target puts after Wednesday news? On SPY, you're meaning, Pyro? It's gonna depend on the price action on the news, but yeah, I will expect that it's gonna be a rush, probably going up, and then we're gonna settle and try to go to lower levels. But I don't know if after Wednesday we might stay on this range. But if you're looking for September, for October, that's a month away. Yeah, I mean, you can always hedge your port with some October just in case. If we keep going up, your port is going to be up and you're going to be fine, and then those are going to be, valueless, and that's fine. So we just trash them and just get rid of them. But I will wait for. Yeah, you need to do that tomorrow, probably midday. Tomorrow midday, and then from there you can decide. We'll see how the price action reacts tomorrow. We'll see if we go. I want to see the price action above 563 first. Let's see if that's going to happen. Today we were there, but we, just slightly, not enough time. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the company. If, as usual, you have any questions, DM me, ask me, and if you are on a trade and you want to see if you have any problem with the charts or anything, just DM me and we'll go together through it, and we'll try to find what's gonna happen with that trade. Okay. Thank you for the questions, and have a great night. Enjoy your Tuesday.